So I've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of final expense over the phone, and I give it credit to this one skill that I learned. Ultimately, this one skill has allowed me to learn how to sell, close more deals, and I promise you, if you learn this one skill, you'll be better than most life insurance agents. You will dominate and finally win. And it's not a special word track that I'm going to give you. It's not like this trickery that you have to use. The one skill that allowed me to sell, make six figures, and hit my income goals as a life insurance agent was my ability to learn how to be genuinely interested in people. And I'm going to teach you guys in this video the 5 steps that I've used to allow people to feel like you're genuinely interested in them so that you can become their friend. They will ultimately feel bad for you and they will want to buy life insurance from you. And without these 5 little steps, if people don't feel like they like you, or if people don't know that you're actually on their side, they will never buy life insurance. So I'm going to teach you how I unlock this superpower. And ultimately, one of the biggest lessons, everyone knows that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Well, if you were to summarize that book into a few words, it comes down to this. This book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, will teach you how to get people to think that you are genuinely interested in them. And I'm going to share with you exactly how to do this. The first concept that I have always learned that has helped me sell life insurance, that has helped me close more deals, that has helped me sell at a high level in any industry: tree removal, top agent; lawn care, top agent; life insurance, top agent, was being a phenomenal listener. I realized early on that people like to talk about themselves, and ultimately when I am selling life insurance over the phone, I will never speak about myself. I will never talk about my family. I will never talk about my hobbies. I will never talk about my zip code. I will only continue to listen to what the people have to say. And this is a strength. It is a challenge, but I promise you, if you listen well, people will spill the beans and they will just simply like you because they will think that you are interested in them. I had this happen the other day. A guy comes up to me. He's an old guy. I said, "Hey, you want to work in with me?" He's like, "No." He's like 70 years old. And I just start asking him questions, and he starts asking me, "Well, what do you do for work? What do you?" And I simply just answer in one-liner and then ask him all about himself, and he just opened up and would not stop talking. And he was like, "Hey man, if you even want to work out with me one day, come work out with me. I like you." And within 5 minutes, I got him to like me because I listened well. Now, secondly, is that I asked thoughtful questions. When you are selling life insurance over the phone, if you are asking surface level questions, you will never get people to open up, but you want people to be vulnerable. And the way that you get people to open up is to ask thoughtful questions, deep rooted questions. So when Miss Betty tells you that she has a lot going on in her life, you are not just going to acknowledge that, "Okay, gotcha, Miss Betty, you have a lot going on. What do you got going on?" Instead, you can ask a deeper level question such as, "Wow, Miss Betty, you have a lot going on. I can tell there's a lot on your mind. What exactly are you going through, and how can I be there for you?" Or when Miss Betty tells you that her dog's name is Jimmy. "Awesome. Your dog's name Jimmy? And how does that feel knowing that Jimmy's always there for you? Is he a good boy?" And things of that nature, when you can ask deeper level questions to get them to open up about things that are personal to them, and they can be vulnerable by asking deep questions, you will get people to open up and guaranteed to like you. The third thing that you must do is that when you ask questions, you must have empathy. So many times we ask questions and we're just always thinking about our next question. So we're going through the scripts thinking, "Okay, what's our next question? What's our next question? What's our next question?" But when Miss Betty has something dramatic in her life, she loses her son, she got really sick, she beat cancer, she had a crazy life event, are you the type of individual that's going to stop and pause and ask, "Wow, and how are you doing? I can't imagine I can't imagine what you're going through as a mother. How have you been bearing with all the stress? You beat cancer. Oh my gosh, you are such a trooper. How does that make you feel knowing that you've been able to go through that?" So number 1 is to use your ears, listen actively. Number 2 is to ask non-surface level questions. Be thoughtful with your questions. Number 3 is to show empathy, care about people, treat people as if they were your own brother, sister, aunt, uncle, family member. And if they can feel that in your tonality and you're actually genuinely interested in their life circumstances. Like if something happened to Miss Betty, I want myself to think that's my mom. How would I react if my mom just got found out she had cancer? How would I react if my mom just lost her son? I would stop, I would pause, and I would give her my condolences, and I'd let her know that I'm here for her. The fourth thing is have their name in the back of the health. The most important part of someone's language, dictionary, whatever you want to call, is their name. The reason I share this is that yesterday when I was at the squat rack talking to that guy, he gave me his name. His name was Richard, but he didn't bring it like, hey, my name's Richard. Nice to meet you. Instead, as he was talking to me, he told me how he won a bodybuilding competition and his name was on the plaque. It said Richard Jones, bodybuilder of 2012. And I caught that name and I was able to, at the end of that conversation, I said, Richard, you have a blessed day. He second took me like, wait, how did you know my name? Because the name is the most important. So when you're selling life insurance over the phone, when you're closing, you need to continue to let them know that you know their name. Okay, Miss Betty, it sounds like this. Okay, Miss Betty, is this right? Okay, Miss Betty, is that right? So using someone's name over and over and over and over again will build a relationship, will allow them to know that you've been listening, will allow them to know that you're on their team, and ultimately your friends know you by your name. Your friends don't say, hey, Mr. Roberts. So use their first name. And if you have their name, continue to repeat it. By the end, you've built a relationship, you've built a trust that is surface level, that's past the emotions, that is pure psychology about building friends and influencing people because you care about them. And the last thing is that ultimately, never say anything about your life. I promise this again. People don't care about your life. People don't care about the challenges. People don't care about your stories. People don't care what you've gone through. They just want to brag about what they've gone through. And I promise you, if you just learn to bite your tongue and ask more questions, use your ears, use good head motion. Oh, wow. And you use facial expressions where you're interested in your closing, you will sell more life insurance than anybody else. Because simply enough, they like you, and I made more sales than anybody when I sucked at selling life insurance because I simply relied on this principle. I made people feel like they would feel bad if they hung up on me because I got them to like me early on as a life insurance agent. And this was by never talking about my family and ultimately investing in their lives. Old people want to talk. Old people have lived old lives. Old people have gone through a lot of memories. Old people have gone through a lot in their life. So if you can sit down and just speak to an old person and ask more about their life, every old person wants to talk about their family, their work, their health, their history, their bills. So just sit down, take your shoes off, take your hat off figuratively, and just sit there and ask more questions about their life. And these people will spill the beans. And the more beans that you spill, the higher likelihood that they will like you. And the higher likelihood when you put, hey, here, the 10,000 is $63 for 43 cents per month. Does that sound fair? They will sign the check just because they like you. And I'm going to end with this story. When I go out to eat, my wife tells me not to sit next to the old people because if I sit next to them, they will like me. And ultimately, I will be so invested that they'll want to sit with me for 20 minutes. And it's because I will sit there, I will not talk about anything about my life, and I'll ask them more questions and they will open up and they will love me. Sell more people by being a better listener. Use this and you'll close more deals without a better objection handling. Let's get it.